Now, South Africans are demanding urgent and decisive interventions amid various crises facing the country. Now, the Stilfontein mining standoff and the foodborne illnesses, which have claimed more than 20 lives, all of them children, and their challenges currently besieging the country. As such, citizens are looking to government and political leaders to step up and put an end to this predicament. Now, some political parties have endeared themselves on how they have gone on trying to find solutions to these problems. They've also forced the country into having some uncomfortable conversations on the issues around both illegal and legal migration. Now, my colleague, Newzroom Afrika's Juniour Khumalo, is joining me live in studio to discuss those missed reactions that we've been seeing regarding these discussions. Juniour, we saw what happened in Stilfontein when this whole issue started. You were on the ground, and this was a community-led operation to retrieve those illegal miners that are still underground today. Later on, we started seeing authorities coming on to assist them also with these foodborne illnesses. We've seen just today from our reporters on the ground in Soweto that most of these operations, closing those spaza shops that are saying are killing their children, being led by community members. Of late, we've seen the expression of voices coming from authorities. Is it a little too late, or is it just the right time? What are the sentiments that you are getting as you are reporting, especially about Stilfontein on the ground?
There's been a lot of frustration, Audrey, from the general communities who are saying that their political leaders basically are failing them in terms of their response time to some of these issues. As you've rightfully put it, when it comes to Stilfontein, with those illegal miners that were refusing to resurface, there was a lot of assistance that they received from community members, with government basically dragging their feet to go to that area and ensure that they try and give assistance there. We did see a lot of law enforcement officials, basically their presence there, and that was welcomed by the community members. But there has been this call for decisive action from leaders of government and various political parties. In Stilfontein today, we did see some of the members of the provincial legislature finally making their way there. It's been over 3 weeks since this situation has been unfolding in that situation, and we have not seen most of these individuals going there. Yes, the law enforcement, as led by the Minister of Police, Senzo Mchunu, has been to the area, but there was this call for the Mineral Resources Minister to go there and be a part of those voices that are basically trying to find solutions there. There was also a call for the President of the country to make his way there, because there are over 1,000 people that are trapped underneath, according to some of these reports that we're receiving. And they're saying that to show the necessary agency, we need the head of the country to go to that area and basically address some of these issues. But there are political parties that have received a lot of celebration from the community members, parties such as your Patriotic Alliance, such as your Action SA, who have basically said that we need to start having those tough talks around how some of these individuals make their way into the country. It's a form of illegality festering in the country that has caused all of these issues to basically come to the fore. But we did speak to one of the political analysts today, and he had this to say about some of those voices from the various political parties.
What we've seen, for example, in the case of the Patriotic Alliance, they are now absolutely outspoken about it. There's no qualifications. Action SA might be a little bit more sort of reserved about some of their statements. But I think for the public, it is very clear what they mean. And that is that they are critical of foreigners in general, foreigners in different components of our society, whether it is mining, whether it is in the spaza shops, whether it is working on farms or in restaurants. It applies to all of them. But I think there is what has happened at the time of the election is that this type of rhetoric has become more and more acceptable.
That's quite an interesting take from that analysis. I know we know of different political parties, particularly the Action SA, who have been very vocal when it comes to their stance on immigration, both legal and illegal. I'm not sure that we've really quite heard their voice when it comes to these issues that the country is dealing with. We also have Gayton McKenzie's party that is also very vocal. Operation Dudula just a few days ago, organizing those marches and galvanizing communities to also be a part of that operation.
Indeed, I did speak to Action SA national spokesperson today, Lerato Ngobeni, and she was talking about how this conversation needs to move from just the illegality of the immigrants that are coming into the country, but also to involve legal immigrants. In a country that has about 30% unemployment rate, there is that necessity, according to Action SA, to start speaking about how legal immigrants come into the country, but because of the socio-economic situation that they come from, they are willing to take up jobs such as being zamazamas, such as working in restaurants that are not paying them above the minimum wage. So that is a conversation that needs to be raised with government. And they say that with their 6 seats that they have in parliament, they're going to start raising that conversation also because that is another challenge when it comes to South Africans not being employed. And now they're unhappy seeing this situation around spaza shops, around zamazamas. It's also being fueled by those immigrants that are coming into the country. So that's where the conversation, they're trying to take the conversation now. But we have seen parties such as your ANC as well as the Democratic Alliance. They are also in favor of legalizing how people come into the country, but also of companies and entities not abusing people and basically taking them into job spaces such as illegal mining that is happening right now. So those are the conversations that most political parties have actually been trying to raise.
Well, it appears those conversations cannot be avoided now. If anything that we're seeing on the ground is anything to go by. Juniour, thank you so much for giving us that update. We certainly appreciate it.